Do you want to trade and travel?
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Traders of the World,
the show where we bring inspiring stories about the financial market and our guests. I am Matheus Massari, and I'm talking directly from Traders Brazil headquarters at São Paulo. And with me, Flávio Lemos.
Thank you, Matthew. I'm Professor Flávio Lemos, author of some books. You know me. I'm the president of the Brazil local chapter of the CMT Association. And I just completed half a century of life, 50 years old. I'm a Brazilian, a proud father of 2 boys, and we are speaking English because we want this show to inspire new traders from all over the world. I hope you all like it and spread our word.
Great. So, Flávio, who is your guest today? Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Of course. She's from India, a professional trader, a former Miss India, and also a professional traveler. Direct from Bali, without further delay, please welcome Bhavya.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Hi, I am Bhavya Gehlot. Good evening from Bali and good morning from Sao Paulo. Well, as Flavio already introduced, I am Bhavya Gehlot and I am from India. I'm a professional futures trader. I've been in the financial world for more than 15 years. Yes, and I'm a professional traveler, more proud of it. Um, so I am in Bali and I'm here with these 2 gentlemen to talk about my trading journey and just give a little bit of insights. So there I am.
Nice. So let's start with the questions. So Bhavya, tell us about your beginning as a trader. Up from the start, what did you study?
So as a child, I always liked mathematics and I pursued engineering as my undergrad. I did my engineering, so that gave me understanding of my analytical side of my brain, which as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, it was a discovery. And after I did my engineering, I joined one of the very prestigious, prominent industry in India. I joined a company as a software engineer, only to realize that that is not something I was cut out for. And I joined, then I was introduced to the banking side of the world. So I joined an American bank, Citibank, as an RM relationship manager in the capital markets. And I realized that is also I did not really enjoy because it was a tailor-made products which I was selling to clients. That time I did not know I would become a trader. Well, fast forward, I went to do my double masters from Sorbonne Business School in Paris and Copiace from Rio as well, along with the Georgia State, learning international business and financials. So that was about my study. I traveled around the world in this period and lived in different countries, ran multiple businesses. Still, there was no sign of me being a trader. Only to coming back to India in 2016, I was invited for a seminar because I used to live in this hotel, which used to have all these luxurious events from fashion shows to events to financial events, one of the best events. So I was invited by OTA, which is the Online Trading Academy, to come and attend a seminar about how to trade, like basics of trading. So I went with a lot of reluctance. I said, okay, I'm not doing anything this evening, so let's just go for the seminar. So I went with a lot of reluctance for like a cup of coffee, and I found it very complicated. I found it like, oh my God, it takes a lot of data points. Maybe, it's not for me, but it's okay. So I went there, and that 1 hour converted to like a full day of me being there. That one day converted to me taking a course, full course. And that one full course has converted to me discovering my passion as a trader, which I am very happy with. And I have finally found my professional calling as a trader. So that's what I have done so far.
I'm here with this beautiful Indian Nehru jacket that you gave me in your honor, of course. And what is your personal style as a trader? You are a day trader, a swing trader, you use futures, options, stocks?
Sure. So I am particularly a futures trader. I started with futures trading, and that is what I got used to. I particularly do futures trading, but I think I would have 3 elements which I could describe my trades as. In the beginning of my trading journey, uh, I would take more of my trades as naked future trades. which is very high risk and very high reward. I refuse to pay that little bit of insurance also, hedging it with an option. So I used to take, I still take, but 10% of my trades are still naked future trades. The second way I trade, like I like to trade, is nowadays after an incident, which I will mention towards the later part of this conversation, that now I, of course, hedge my trades with options. I have become a little better intelligent trader. I do take insurances as even if I make less money, but I protect my trades. And thirdly, although I'm a swing trader, but sometimes, as you know, that sometimes the market like some news happens in the market and the charts doesn't really help you. The markets can go either direction basis on the news. For example, like on 14th of July, as you may know and the world knows, that India launched Chandrayaan, right? And it was a very successful project in the space, in the world of space. So the last 1 hour of the market rallied in Indian NSE, right? The Indian stock market rallied crazy. So that time, even if the charts were saying that it's not necessarily a long, but we got a breakout and who were long made crazy profits. So these kind of news, which also affects, so sometimes my swing trade converted into a day trade. So although I had a swing trade kept, but the returns were and the rewards were met in like a day's time. So it converted to a day trading. So although I'm a swing trader, but sometimes the trades get converted to day trades, and I'm a day trader for those days.
Great. I remember we were having dinner in New York late at night, and you pull up your cell phone and started trading in the market. It was late, like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and I don't remember. I know because of yeah, that was an incredible night. So could you tell us about how big is the Indian market?
India is one of the world's biggest derivative markets. It has around 50 million users. There are millions of people doing billions of trade instantly, all instantly, with a T+1 settlement. So it makes a very user-savvy, user-protected market. And we have two stock exchanges, NSE and BSE. Again, one of the largest stock exchanges in terms of volatility, in terms of liquidity.
As a successful woman in the finance industry, how did your background in modeling influence your approach to trading stocks, derivatives, and what valuable skills did you bring from your previous career?
Oh, so well, I did not have a career in modeling. I'm a very high risk taker in my personal life also. I'm a very curious person. I like to explore a lot of things. So modeling was just a byproduct of me again sitting at some place. I'm somehow find that always found at a right place at the right time. So I get a lot of good opportunities. So modeling, not modeling, Mrs. India Worldwide was a byproduct of just being at the right place at the right time, which I also won. As I said, I'm a high risk trader and I'm very confident as a person. So I think that comes very handy to me. Now, how does that come to trading? So as I said, I'm also a avid traveler, and I have done engineering. So I think trading has allowed me to put together all my travel, engineering, love for maths, and many other skills. It aligns with the kind of a person I am, which is a very outgoing, high risk, high rewards. That's how my life has been. Now, trading has also allowed me to give like a lot of freedom. As you know, I can sit in a bar and trade and make money out of it and still look beautiful, like from the modeling time. So I think all of these things just gives you the liberty, just liberty or the freedom, I guess, whether it's modeling, which makes you feel happy, which is basically about confident. Same comes to trading. If you have the confidence, you make the money, you feel nice about it, and you're happy in the end. It's all about in the end being happy. In this case, we make money, we are happy. In some cases, we lose money and we are still happy. That's called seasoned traders. I am getting there already. I have become a seasoned trader. I'm still happy even if I lose money. So that's what it is.
So you don't want world peace anymore as enemies.
I want world peace, always. I want world peace. I want my peace first, and then comes the world peace. If I'm peaceful, I can keep the world around me very peaceful.
Nice.
So, Bhavya, which tools specifically do you look at? Could you give us some examples?
What is your personal trader's routine?
Oh, sure. So what I do is like I like to mark my charts. So I'm a technical analysis, right? I do technical analysis. I'm a technical trader. Although I do understand that we always categorize traders into fundamental traders and the technical traders. But I feel and I believe like if you are doing technical trading, the fundamentals automatically are surrounded, right? You always keep an eye on the fundamentals. So my day's routine or a trader's routine goes like this. So I mark my charts at least on a weekly basis. Put out the indicators on the platform I use. So it always keeps popping like it's time to buy, it's time to sell, it's time to get out, it's time to do it. So I do that over the weekend, preferably. And once the trading hours are on, and once I get an entry, I would say there are four legs to my trades routine, right? Besides marking my charts. I get an entry point after I've done my analysis. After I get an entry point, I do monitor my trades. Although I do technical analysis and I have pop-ups always popping up for my entry. But once I've got an entry, I do my monitoring because I don't use quant based yet. I'm still a discretionary derivatives trader. So I monitor my trades. And once I get an exit, which is the third leg of my trading, the most important part of me is to sit down and do an analysis or do a like a take back from my trade because some trades are so like I would say insightful or it gives you so much of insight. Like for example, I remember doing so I do a lot of voice recordings sometimes because it's sometimes just like a general knowledge you need to take. For example, there was a time when I had a trade in an IT stock, and it's one of the biggest India's IT company called Infosys. Now, the Infosys was showing indirectly proportional to Nifty, which is the index of Indian stock market, right? And in the past, it was not indirectly proportional. So I was confused. Like, is it always indirectly proportional to the Nifty performance, or is it like these days when the results or the quarterly results are being out? So I did a backtest analysis and it was still not clear. So I did an audio recording for myself that make sure to see, go back in the history of all the IT stocks and see how many are indirectly proportional. And is it only Infosys which behaves indirectly proportional? If yes, is it only during the quarterly results or is it throughout the period, right? So these things, I still distinctly remember this because I made a trade, but it was not so profitable. So although I wasn't profitable, it did not give me happiness because I could have studied it a little better and I could have made a little more money, right? So these kind of analysis or these kind of post trades, post exit analysis, which I do, which is the fourth part of my trade routine, and that's the most important part for me.
These are great insights that you gave us. Thank you, Bhavya. Could you tell us about your best and worst trade ever? What did you learn from them?
Sure, I think the best trade was uh, I would categorize myself as a bear, and even if I make profits in my longs, I am not so excited as much as I make profits when I'm short. So my best trade was this short trade, which I had taken in a national bank. It was a state bank of India, and I shorted it at a particular time. Uh, it gave me a great result. It was the best trade in terms of money, but somehow, the the human emotion, which is like when you're making profit, you get scared, right? You said, okay, now I'm in green, let's exit, let's exit, let's exit. But same thing when you are going in losses, you think, oh, I've lost 10%, stop loss. Should I move my stop loss? Should I move like 2% further down, 2%? Oh, I've anyways lost 10%. Let's just lose 12%. How does it make a difference? Without even knowing, you don't even realize that 10% has already become 50%. And once you go at 50%, your mind says, you've lost 50% anyways. Let's take 10%. And without knowing it, you're like, these emotions. So my best trade has been the State Bank of India, where I did make a lot of money. Uh, it was beautiful. it was short, and it was the best trade. Having said that, Reliance, which the example I was giving you, I'll tell you why was this example. This is during the time of the COVID crash, which happened in March 2021, right? Um, all the indicators, everything was saying it's a short. I still remember the levels. It was at 1200, and it was to fall down to like 3% or 4%. And it was sitting even on a higher time frame. It had come to the support zone, like the sell zone, which is the resistance. It was 100% by the chart, should have fallen down, should have. But what happened? The nature has always the greater force, right? Reliance started acquiring companies, and they kept showing in the papers and the media that they acquired one, two, three, and jumped. Every morning the markets open, the entire world is falling. The entire Indian market is falling, but only Reliance is going up and up and up and up. And here my brain behaved like what I just said, like, oh, you lost 10%, never mind, 12%, 15%, like that. And it kept going on and on. That made me so agitated and angry. And that's when I realized, like, sometimes you can't really fight the force of the nature, right? And in markets, it's not always about a technical analysis, it's always about these news, which I said, like Chandrayaan gave us a last hour of rally. Like that, Reliance kept rallying through the time of COVID. The entire world was suffering. Reliance went from 1200 to 2200. Can you imagine 100% jump? And that's where my mind, like, I would was playing this loss, human emotion, like 10%, 20%, 30%. So I did lose a lot of money. I don't know if it was wise or no, but yeah, these are the honest confessions as a trader. Like I did lose a lot of money. And I overlooked the power of stop loss that time because of the human emotion. So that was my worst trade. I don't like it still. So unhappy about it.
Great.
I don't like Reliance after that.
Yes. So,
Although,
Bhavya,
you know, it's the
although in
biggest
Brazil,
company, it is the biggest company of India and 100 largest company of the world. It's the best. Like it's, I would say, um, the owners, the Ambani, those are the richest people in the world, also and very dynamic in their businesses. They have multiple businesses, right from telecom to FMCG to everything you can think of. They are there. But I personally don't like them because I lost money.
Great.
Living and learning. That's it.
It's a learning process. I think, all this losses in trading, it's like a learning cost. That is how I take. After that loss, I definitely learned the importance of not giving into your mind. See, the trading makes you very mentally tough, right? And it's only an ongoing process. It's a continuous learning. In trading, you never stop learning. Even if a senior trader like you, who has crossed his 30 years right now. Yeah, I know you're 30. Like even a senior trader like you would know and you would agree with me that it's a continuous process. Every day from every trade, you would learn something. It's an ongoing process of learning. So for me, even if I lost that money, and it was a big chunk of money, and for me, that made me sad, very sad for a lot of like for a very big amount of time. But now, when I see those kind of losses or when I encounter these kind of things, my mind is much better prepared. So that was a learning cost, and I don't feel sad about it. So yeah.
Yeah, as Flavio say, living and learning. All right, so Bhavya, although in Brazil there is a woman population majority, in Ibovespa exchange there are only 23% woman accounts. What do you think about these inequalities?
Well, it is very strange that uh, women are emotionally more stable and more sound than men. This is a scientific report, not my report. It's a fact, and they have succeeded in all the fields. Like every field it takes, women are always successful. Be it telecom, be it FMCG, be it like Facebook. If you see all the seniors or all the people at the top level are women. Be it Sheryl Sandberg, be it Sanjay Devanathan. So many women senior entrepreneurs, right? Everywhere. But in trading, unfortunately, there are only 1 to 2%, I would say, who are active traders. If I talk about India, there are only 11% women traders. And now they're not necessarily active women traders. They have trading accounts. And the reason they might have trading accounts is because of the tax purposes, right? When you have to file taxes, there are certain things where you have to invest so you get a tax benefit under 80cc. And because of that obligation, some people like to open a trading account and invest in mutual funds, not necessarily a derivative product. But if you look at the statistics, there are only 1 to 2% who are actively trading. Also, if you look at the advanced conferences or meetup, for example, CMT, uh, I think I think only 1% are women amongst all the attendees or all the participants. And out of that 1% also, I think there'll be maybe 2 or 3 traders, rest of them are analysts. That is the actual numbers, right? Which you agree with me, Flavio, in the case of CMT. But having said that, that is changing. At least I can talk about India. It is changing. SEBI, which is the Security Exchange Board Authority of India, they are pushing, all the regulators are pushing women to participate, and they are pushing a lot of educational program related to trading. There are a lot of platforms, a lot of brokers coming up with different kind of programs only for women so they can participate in trading, right? As I said earlier, that women are more emotionally sound and they can have a better decision or they can have a better mindset when it comes to overpowering greed or fear, the two most important emotions in trading. They would be better at taking overpowering than a man. Now, this is scientific. This is not I'm comparing. That's remaining a fact. I think it is changing. In this CMT, I would say, like I saw women taking center stage, which was a fresh, which was a refreshing scenario as compared to the last CMT or the previous CMTs. We had more women coming and taking center stage and participating and doing the analysis and giving sessions on trading, which is just changing the scenario. Well, that gives me hope that there'll be more women coming up on stage, and the dynamics will change. And right now it's like 1 to 2% against 98% of men. Soon, I think it should be at least 15%, if not too much. Well, in India, let me tell you that until 2 years back, it was only 6% of the women who had trading activities. Now it's already 12%. So I'm pretty positive.
So, finance has traditionally been male dominated, but your journey challenges that notion. What advice would you give to aspiring female traders who might feel intimidated by entering this field? How can they break the barriers and succeed? So, what advice would you give to young trader aspirants, especially for women traders?
Well, I would say that, first of all, I would say that before you enter with a big capital, I would insist that you learn a lot before you go in with a big capital. And as women, we are very powerful and very sorted. I think it's just a little push you need to be given, and you are ready to conquer the world. It's again a fact. I know for it, for sure. Now, again, having said that, information is not knowledge, as Albert Einstein had said. Information is not knowledge, but information is a source of learning. So I always would advise the young aspirants, whether it's a woman or a man, to first invest in a professional education. There's a lot of content right now these days on YouTube, people tweeting about their trades or giving advices, free advices to people that I feel that it's going to be a short, I feel it's going to be a long, take this position, exit that position, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. So the young aspirants, under the urge of making fast money, like everybody wants to make fast money, they might just fall under the trap of these advices, seeing that, oh, this guy has 10,000 followers on Twitter or this has million views subscribers. I still feel and I still say very strongly, do not go for those content. As I said, information is not necessarily knowledge. Information, until and unless processed in the right way, it is not going to serve you well. It's only going to be a burden. And how will you make it work for you? It's only when you go for a professional learning, professional course, So you are trained enough or you are equipped enough to understand which knowledge or which information is more useful for you. So that is the first thing I would advise a young aspirant who wants to become a trader. Now, also, after you have gained this, I think you should start small and gain that confidence. Even if you get a trade which made you lots of money, don't get overconfident because it always happens. Call it a beginner's luck, call it whatever. It might happen to you that you might make a big amount of money and you feel, oh, I am the king of the world and I can trade. But that is not how it happens, right? Still be consistent, at least for so small time frame of time. I was like at least a year. Keep trading, keep learning because it's a process. There's a lot of things which you need to understand. Trading is not only about money. Greed and fear, these two emotions, is what you need to learn and conquer. And once you do that, then you are a trader. And what is the time frame to get over greed and fear? There is no time frame. Everybody's cut out differently. Everybody's a different person. Only you know how long will you take to get over your greed factor or your fear factor. So give it time. Don't rush in. Money is there. It's big money, yes, but you need to have patience. And patience and information put in the right way, you can become a great trader.
Okay, Bhavya. So, if you could travel back in time, what would you say for your younger self? Which books do you recommend for your younger self?
Great question, Flavio. What is the name of your book? And when was it launched? Tell me the English name of your book.
Or this one, money, the way of use it, dinero.
Yeah, Dinero. I would say I would highly recommend that if I was younger self, if the book called Dinero was launched, I would only and only swear by that book. That is the book I recommend to everyone that is listening to this podcast. But are you seriously asking me this question?
What advice could you do give to your younger self?
I would honestly, I don't know about I don't know about a particular book. I would still, and I still follow this advice, younger self or myself or the older self of mine. I would say trading is a part of your life, right? And trading is very philosophical to me. It gives you so many emotions, like it gives you so much money, it gives you so much of everything. It's very intense thing. The only thing to center your mind is to be calm, be peaceful. If you're more peaceful and centered, you have better traits. If you're more peaceful, you have a better life. I would still say that go keep traveling, go meet new people, learn different things, explore yourself, explore everything, and find your center of happiness. When you find that, you're very good at anything which you do, which also trading. Having said that, while you're doing all of this, you meet people like I met you, I met other colleagues who would introduce me to books which are relevant to my studies. So I might not know books like Dinero, but when I meet people, when I travel, I come to know about these books, which is actually giving me insights. So instead of reading books per se, which are only pages for me, I like to meet people who write those books and take it straight from their head to my head and learn it directly.
And what do you do for get this peace in mind? You do yoga, you do dancing. What do you do? Something to relax and stay focus?
Yeah, sure. I do a lot of meditation. My life is very hectic. Uh, I travel a lot, which means I have to take a lot of flights. I'm at the airport. I'm running for flights. I'm stuck in rains, or I fought with an Uber driver. Then there's trading going on. I'm in a different time zone, sometimes in Southern Hemisphere, sometimes in Northern Hemisphere. So it's very hectic and chaotic, which is normal, which is okay, and I'm very happy about it. I meditate. I simply meditate, and it helps a lot. Now, for me, meditation is actually just uh, sitting still and focusing on my breath is what I meditate. Sometimes I actually even dance because that is also very meditative for me. Meditation is nothing but making your mind forget the worries or the current state, what you are in. So it could be from dancing, which is for me, or it could be anything. For some people, it's like going for a walk, running, cycling. For me, it's dancing and sitting still. That's what.
Nice. So say it for our viewers. Where can we find you on internet? Do you have any social media?
I do have an Instagram page, but that's related to a lot of travels and food.
You get a
But
lot of
sure.
fans, huh?
Yes, it is. It's called, my Instagram handle is tales of underscore BT. Tales is Tales is like stories, TALES. Stories of Bhavya Gehlot is what it means. So it's pretty much about uh, stories. I have very fun stories. Like I travel a lot, so I have crazy stories that's related to food. Sometimes it's related to people or some kinds of experiences. So yeah, that is what it's about. Like today's one of my story was like getting ready for a podcast interview with the background of Bali. So it is exciting and it's inspiring for people because I get a lot of questions, from in person or online that how do you manage to travel and trade? But that is my USP. I travel and trade. I trade so I can travel. So these are my two passions, trade and travel. Trade gives me freedom, and travels gives me knowledge, whatever I need. So that is what makes me what I am.
So if we got any traders trading contest like a trader universe contest, you would be number one again. I would give you the trophy. So with that, we conclude our incredible interview with Bhavya Gehlot. Thank you, Bhavya, for your time and for sharing with us your incredible experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Flavio. Thank you, Matheus. Thank you for your wonderful questions and having this conversation this morning.
And of course, a special thank you for all our viewers all around the world. Stay tuned and subscribe for more content here on our channel. Until the next time, see ya.